this bill and traveling across the state, one thing became clear to me. These were egregious annexations. Many, in fact, by far, the most cities did not participate, but a few did. Let me give you some examples. The average lawsuit contesting annexation in Knoxville was more than 12 years old. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars spent resisting annexation. In Chattanooga, 3 to 5 years in age. Memphis, more than 7 years. These people fought with everything they had to stay out of the city, but here's the problem. The law allowed the city to act in this way without any representation of those parties whatsoever. Think about it. Could they call their county commissioner? No, he or she had absolutely no say. Could they call the city commission? No, they were not yet annexed and therefore had no representation. Where's the only place they could go? They could go to their state representatives, as they did with me before I came here. And I said, if I go, I will try to correct this injustice. Literally, name me one other legal pursuit in Tennessee that did not give your average citizens word to speak, address their grievances anywhere. That's annexation. That's egregious. By the way, we have changed that now, and it is only by their consent, thanks to you all. I think the vote was 84 to 5, 85 to 4.
Representative Hardaway.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So the egregious addresses the method of annexation, not whether or not the affected lands had attempted to de-annex or not, or what the method is in place for de-annexation. That's not part of the egregious evaluation. Am I correct?
Representative Carter.
Representative Hardaway, it is an essential ingredient. Each one of these cities, these citizens have been in litigation or constant protest against the annexation since the date it occurred. That's the reason these 5 cities have been selected. And I'm so proud of Johnson City to say we want to heal that wound and go forward. And I commend them for that. That's why they were withdrawn from this bill, because they have done the most responsible thing of all, and I was happy to let them out.
Representative Hardaway.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So the evaluation revolves around how long the de-annexation effort has occurred, or just that it was a court action?
No, sir. I'm sorry.
Representative Carter.
I'm sorry. Representative Hardaway, it deals not only with those who had the funds to resort to litigation, it also deals with those folks who could not afford to hire high-priced lawyers, who merely went to city commissions time after time after time, pled their case, wrote letters, did everything they could do to get an amicable withdrawal from the city, and was rebuffed every time.
Representative Hardaway.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I'm assuming, Judge, that, excuse me, Representative Carter, that the 6 cities, because I'm still trying to figure out how the 6 cities are grouped, and I'm assuming what you're telling me, these are the only ones with these particular situations where there has been court action and there has not been resolution through that court action, and they have no other options. Is that correct?
Representative Carter.
Not only court actions, but consistent resistance, which was unaddressed. Let me give you an example. Cornersville, Tennessee, I think has a population of 1,900. They are a primary reason I'm standing here today. Those folks went through the most egregious annexation, even so much that the Department of Justice came in and set aside part of it. So yes, they did not resort to litigation because they were not of the means to hire lawyers to resist that. And the annexation only involved 9 farms.
Representative Hardaway.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I understand most of what you're sharing with me, but what I don't quite get is how you determine those 6 cities. Is it a delegation thing, or you're listening to the representatives from those areas? And I'm asking because the majority of the representatives out of Memphis oppose having Memphis included in this. I'm all for you handling the business of your county, but I'm trying to figure out how you determine whether Memphis should or should not be in there when the majority of the representatives are opposed to it.
No.
Representative Hardaway. Representative Carter.
If all things were equal, I would certainly allow a voice vote of that. But Memphis and South Cordova and Windike and South Haven, South Wind and those areas have suffered egregious annexation. They have consistently fought it, and they deserve to be in this bill. Whether they will withdraw or not, that is their position. Remember, we are not taking anyone out of any city. Not one person are we removing tonight in this bill. We're giving the people we asked to vote for us the right to determine their own future. We want them to vote for us, but we don't want them to vote on anything else, apparently.
Representative Hardaway.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And, you know, I appreciate the sponsor being patient, but I can tell you in my mind there will be unintended consequences. And I don't doubt the sponsor's sincerity. I've never questioned his integrity. But I would anticipate that we can foresee that there will be housing segregation. I think that we'll see that there is economic discrimination. And I think you'll find that in some ways, by shifting the voting population from city to city, that there may very well be some voting rights violations. And not having had the opportunity to follow this bill, as Representative Parkinson may have, I don't know. And it doesn't look like I'm going to have the opportunity. I don't sit on those committees that heard this, but with all due respect to the sponsor, I just don't know enough about these unanswered questions, about the unintended consequences, to where I can support the bill, but I do appreciate you addressing some of these specifics for me. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you to the sponsor.
Leader Fitzhugh, for what purpose?
Madam Speaker, so that we can allow some members, I know the time is getting short, could we limit debate now to 2 minutes?
Without objection. 2 minutes. Chairman McManus, you're recognized. Representative Parkinson, your name was called. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, and I'll be less than a minute or so. I'll be less than 2 minutes. You know, myself and Representative Camper, we talked about this extensively. I sat on TASER when this was being discussed at TASER. My question to you, Mr. Sponsor, who I have a great deal of respect for, is do you feel that you know what's better for the city of Memphis than the Memphis mayor?